Hi guys! So today I'm going to be doing kind of a different sort of video. So Lizzie Faye Loves Books is doing currently a challenge for herself where she is trying to read 60 books by her 60th birthday. And she's calling it 60 by 60, which for her that's like this year, I think. So I saw that and I thought, hey, I have a sort of milestone birthday coming up. I'm turning 30 in 5 years. This year I turned 25. So I know that's a long time, but I thought, hey, you know what? I don't want to do like, I know a lot of people do, like read 20, these are the 24 and 24 that I want to read and stuff. Like, the 24 books you want to read in 2024. I don't necessarily do that because I keep my TBRs so short. Like, this is currently my physical TBR. Like, just these 2 stacks right here. Plus library books. But, this is my physical TBR that I own. And so, I try to keep that very low, so I don't never really do that. But I thought it would be cool to come up with a list of 30 books that I want to read by the time I turn 30. So I have that list, and this is not going to be like a big thing. I'm not going to make a lot of videos updating y'all on this. I'm just going to sort of, as time goes, as I read books that are on this list, update y'all, say, oh hey, I read this in my 30 by 30. So I'm down to, I need this many. And most of these are books that will push me, that I not necessarily are ones that I want to sit down and read, but just that I want, some of these are books that I want to have read. They're never going to be the ones that I gravitate toward, but still I want to have read them, if that makes sense. So, let's just get going down this list so I can tell you just sort of like a list, because again, I haven't read most of these, so I know what a lot of them are about, but still. So the first one is Les Mis, because I have not read Les Mis, and I think I would really like it if I can get past how long it is. Several of these are just going to be really long books, so that's another reason I want to give myself 4.5 years to get through them, because I would, they will take me a while. Next is Little Dorrit by Charles Dickens. I love the miniseries for this, and so I think I would like the book, but I just need to sit down and force myself to read it, because it is so long, because Dickens, and I don't love Dickens, but I want to read this book. Next is Shirley and the Professor by Charlotte Bronte. I love Jane Eyre, and I liked Villette, so I thought I would probably like these as well. I gotta make myself read them. Next is Agnes Grey by Anne Bronte, and I liked Tenant of Wildfell Hall, so I'm pretty sure I'll like this one too. And then I need to read whatever the first book you're supposed to read for Sherlock Holmes is. I've got down The Adventures of Sherlock Holmes because I think that's what the internet told me, but if you've read Sherlock Holmes and you know better, let me know in the comments. Next is, I just have as an entry Father Brown, because my husband has read some of the Father Brown mysteries and he really enjoyed them. And I don't really know which ones, like, he's got one, here, I'll put this up. I got this for him for his birthday or Christmas or something. And I want to read this, this collection. This is what I'm talking about. It's like volume 1 of like the Father Brown collection or something. So this is what I want to read. Next is Much Ado About Nothing by Shakespeare, because this is like the one major Shakespeare play that we did not read in my Shakespeare class in college, so I want to read this. And also, I read like 12 or 13 in Shakespeare class, and then I read, in British literature, I read King Lear, and in World Lit, I read Othello. Yeah. And then I read Merchant of Venice, Romeo and Juliet, Macbeth, a bunch of others in Shakespeare class, but I want to read this one too. Alright, next I have Jack and Jill and Under the Lilac Tree by Louisa May Alcott, because I really enjoyed the Alcott that I read this year, so I want to read more by her. Then I have The Man Who Was Thursday, which is another Chesterton book. This one, again, my husband really loved, and he said that this is the one that I should read, so I'm going to do what he said. Next is Roverandom by J.R.R. Tolkien, and when I read Roverandom, I will have read everything that is related to Middle-earth. Roverandom has like a tiny, well, sort of. Roverandom has like a tiny little connection, and plus it just sounds so sweet. It's kind of like Winnie the Pooh in that it's about one of Tolkien's kids' stuffed animals. They went to the seashore and they lost a stuffed dog. And Tolkien wrote these stories for his kids about the adventures that this stuffed dog went on so that they wouldn't feel sad about losing him, which is just precious, and I really want to read this book. Okay, next is Count of Monte Cristo. Again, just a long one that I don't want to read, but I want to have read, if that makes sense. And then I have Little Lord Fauntleroy by Frances Hodgson Burnett. I enjoyed the other 2 Burnett that I've read, so I would like this one, I would think. I just need to read it. Next is A Wrinkle in Time, because this seems like exactly the kind of book I would love, and I've never read it. So I need to read it. Next is The Bad Beginning, which is book 1 in... Oh, dang it, what is that series called? My husband just told me about this series. We just talked about this. Series of Unfortunate Events. I love Mysterious Benedict Society, and this kind of gives me similar vibes, and I really think I would love this book. I need to read it. Next I have The Place of the Lion by Charles Williams, because this is the one that my library app, or that Libby has, that I can read for free. And I want to try Charles Williams, because he was such a good friend of Lewis and Tolkien, and I love Lewis and Tolkien, so I would imagine I would like their friends' stuff, so I want to try him out. Next is The Story Girl by Ellen Montgomery. I don't think I've read this. If I did, it was so long ago, but I think it was an abridgment that I read. And then Emily of New Moon, also by Ellen Montgomery, because I just want to read more of Ellen Montgomery. I'd also like to read more of the Anne series. I'd like to finish it. Surely in 4.5 years I can finish the Anne series, but I didn't put that on the list because I don't know. That's my next read on my physical TBR is Anne Book 3. So, yeah. Next I have Treasure Island, and mainly I want to read this because I want the baby to read it when he's bigger. So I feel like I should read it first. And plus I like Treasure Planet, so surely I would like Treasure Island, right? Next is Miracles by C.S. Lewis. Yes, there is a C.S. Lewis. Actually, there are two. Miracles and The Discarded Image. I have DNF'd both of these books, which is weird coming from me to have DNF'd Lewis. 2 Lewises? Okay, so, but they're both nonfiction, which I struggle with. But I still want to read them because they're Lewis, and I still own them because they're Lewis. So I just need to read them. Miracles, I think I might try to get the audiobook and listen to. That might help. I'm not sure, but anyways, yeah, I just... Discarded Image was too dense, and Miracles was just nonfiction, and it was just too long. But I need to try them again. Next, I have The Wouldbegoods, which is the sequel to... I almost said 5 Children in It. That's not it. The Bastables. Because I really love the Bastable series. Or The Story of the Treasure Seekers. That's the Bastables book 1. I really love that, and I would like to read more of E. Nesbit. So, yes. Next is Hide and Speed on High Places. I know there was just a read-along for this. I don't have it, but I think it sounds like the kind of book I would like. It sounds very Pilgrim's Progress-esque, which I really like Pilgrim's Progress, so. Next, I have Sir Gibbie, which is by George MacDonald, and I like MacDonald, so I should read more MacDonald. And also The Princess and Curdie by MacDonald, even though I've heard it's not as good as The Princess and the Goblin. Next, I have The Bronze Bow. I think this is biblical fiction? I don't know. Seems like just the kind of book I would like, so I should read this. And I've got The Upper Fourth at Malory Towers, because I read books 1 through 3, so I need to read book 4. And again, loved them. And then I have The Wind in the Willows. I'm not confident, honestly, as to what this is about, but it seems like my kind of children's classic. And then finally, I have Ruth by Elizabeth Gaskell, because I love Gaskell. So I feel like I should read all of her books. So those are the 30 books I want to read by the time I turn 30. I have, like I said, like 4.5 years to do this, so hopefully I can actually get them done. I will try to mention in wrap-ups when I actually read a book that is part of this list. But anyways, if there are any books that you think should not have been on this list, that you don't think I would like, let me know. Also, I will count DNFs, so if I start reading something and I'm like, I am not enjoying this whatsoever, and I DNF it, that counts as having read it. Like, I will mark it off my list and just know it is not a book for me. Alright, thank you all so much for watching, and are there any books that you want to read within the next few years that you're like, I'm not reading this right now, but I will one day? Let me know in the comments. Please like and subscribe, and I will see y'all next time. Bye.